Hello everyone. I'm here today to read all of the chapters and stanzas in the second book of the Secret Doctrine. Yesterday we read all of the first stanzas and chapters in the first book, part 1, 2, and 3. And today we're going to be reading stanzas and chapters in the second book. Okay, so to start off, we've got The Secret Doctrine, the synthesis of science, religion, and philosophy. So there will be the preliminary notes, and again, I'll just hold up a couple of fingers. I'll do this, I guess, so that you know each time I'm hitting a different subject, so I don't have to say and then. Okay, so for the second volume, the preliminary notes are on the archaic stanzas and the four prehistoric continents, the imperishable sacred land, the Hyperborean, Lemuria, Atlantis, the tropics at the pole. Okay, so now we're going, so that's like your precursor to get everything going so that you can understand as you go further along. Anthropogenes, Book 2, Part 2. Right, yeah. This is Book 2, Part 2. This is Book 2, Part 2. It should be Part 2. Yeah, okay, yeah. All right, stanza 1. Beginnings of sentient life. Man, the third logos. The celestial governors of humanity, parent stars and sister planets, three kinds of light, the numbers of creation, the first war in heaven. So now this book is more getting into like where they were in the 18s and stuff. Okay. And then there's a small section that's a few pages and it's called Two Antediluvian Astronomers. So you'll get to hear the points of view of those two. And then stanza 2 is called Nature Unaided Fails. The Monsters of Chaos, the Double Dragon, Who Are the Flames? The chronology of the Brahmins. This isn't another stanza, this is just like a under that one. So the chronology of the Brahmins, the race that never dies, cosmology and intellect plan. Stanza 3, the attempts to create man. The various classes of the creators, man, a god in animal form, fires, sparks, and flames. Stanza 4, creation of the first race. This is the creation of the first races of men. Pitris and the gods, Pitris of the gods and demons, what Prometheus symbolized, the hammer of Thor, the divine rebels, man's father, the sun, and that's sun, S-U-N, man's father, the sun. Stanza 5, the evolution of the second race. The secret works of Crima, the outgrowth of races, Leda, Castor, and Pollux, Jehovah, androgynous, the Jewish god name. Stanza number 6, the evolution of the sweat-born. Bisexual reproduction, the virgin third race, a few words about deluges and Noahs, various deluges, the archetype symbols. Could man exist 18 million years ago? Spontaneous generation, The solar system in the Puranas, oceans of carbonic acid. Oh, it's as opposed as a question in that chapter. Oceans of carbonic acid. Uh, stanza number 8. Oh, sorry, no, 7. Stanza number 7. From the semi-divine down to the first human races. Monads and rounds, a suggestive explanation, a saint hypothesized, sweat-born and androgynous, multiple. Stanza 8, evolution of animal, mammals, and the first fall. Fall, archaic zoology, the sin of mindless men. And then there's another substanza point. What may be the objections of the foregoing? Stanza 9, the final evolution of man. The hairy men of China, the separation of sexes, primeval language. And then there's a sub one. Edens, serpents, and dragons. The dragon of Eden, a college. Flying camels, two schools of magic, the flying dragon. The sons of God and the sacred island, the magicians of Atlantis. Stanza 10, the history of the fourth race. The mysteries among the Mayas, satanic myths, Mahashura and Satan, man and the pale shadow of God, the curse of Vishatra. And then there's going to be sub ones, and I'm not going to necessarily raise my fingers when I read the sub ones of the stanza. I'm just going to read them aloud. Archaic teaching and the Puranas in Genesis. From worm to man, identity of human and animal embryos. The panoramic view of the early races. The natural fall, the symbol of Chronos. Stanza 10 continued, the golden age, the devil outside humanity. Our giants of fiction. The seven virgin truths, the Tibetan Lilith, the races of man, not all human. Races of the third eye, occult philosophy, the evolution of the eye, the third eye is now a gland. And what is everyone finding out about, like, where the third eye goes straight back into the brain, and you got that pineal gland. She's talking about that in 1888 it was published. So when she started writing it, sorry. We're still not to stanza 11. That comes next after this other this last substanza. The primeval manus of humanity. The four earliest races. The esoteric meaning of fish. Stanza 11. The civilization and destruction of the fourth and fifth races. Degeneration of mankind. Atlantis, now ocean floor. Changes of climate. How to read symbols. The antediluvian Buddhas. I can't speak sometimes when I'm on camera. I usually don't have such a hard with my pronunciation off. It's just a little bit of nervousness. Cyclopean ruins and the colossal stones as witnesses to giants. Living, speaking, and moving stones. It's going to talk about things like Stonehenge, the pyramids, those statues on Easter Island. They all got ruined, the heads, but I don't know about the bodies underneath anyway. That one talks about that. It takes God to become a man. Okay, now we're going on to stanza 12. I've got to say this part of, the second book for the Secret Doctrine for me fed into my fantastical curiosity, I must admit. Okay, so stanza 12, the fifth race and its divine instructors. The astronomical dragon, serpents and dragons under different symbolisms, the sidereal and cosmic glyphs, are divine instructors, the origin of the satanic myth. Noah was a kahir, a, a kabir. Noah was a kabir, hence he must have been a demon. Okay, some stuff's controversial, but if like you read it, demon doesn't mean like what Christianity classifies demon as. It's different, and you have to go through the first book to find uh, the meanings, because remember, words seem to shift and change over time, and they're going off of the, remember, she wrote this in 1885. So okay. Okay. The oldest Persian traditions about polar and submerged continents, Western speculations founded on Greek and Puritanic traditions, Puranic Greek and Puranic traditions, the curse of the philosopher's point of view. Additional fragments from a commentary, additional fragments from a commentary on the verses of stanza 12. The oldest records about Atlantis. So, pretty self-explanatory. The doom of Atlantis, the races, sub-races, and family races. And then there is a conclusion, and that's the end of Book 2, Part 1. Now we're going to read the chapters of Book 2, Part 2, the archaic symbolism of the world religions. So remember how he said in the last video, all the religions that exist today have come down from certain amounts and they fracture off certain amounts. So what we're going back, remember, we've been starting at the very central point of where everything branches. And now we're down to the archaic symbolism of the world. So now when people broke off into their different factions, some things changed here and there, and that's important to know. So obviously, that being said, all right, so the esoteric tenets corroborated in every scripture. Okay, so we have stanza, what is that, 14? No. Yeah, 14. Okay, so stanza, but it skipped to 2. Okay, XVI. Adam and Adami, the Kabbalistic 4 atoms. Number 17, the Holy of Holies in its degradation. Christian symbolism, the four-faced Brahma, the old and new Jehovah. Number 18, on the myth of the fallen angel in its various aspects. The evil spirit, who and what, the gods of light proceed from the gods of darkness, the many meanings of the war in heaven, because there's so many different aspects and so many different religions. Okay, number 19. Is Plamora Satan's lair? Jehovah's personating spirit. The Mysterium Magnum, the Logos and Satan are one. 20. Prometheus and the Titan. His origins in ancient India, the boon he gives. Those that aren't familiar, a boon, which is spelled B-O-O-N, it's like a gift or a favor that a god bestows to somebody. So it's like your boon, and like I give you a boon, and then you can call forth like whatever you want to cash in your boon with. One of the Pandavas' mothers, her boon was to be able to call down gods to get pregnant. Anyway, going a bit off subject, the boons he gives. Number 21, Enochian Henoch. And it's just the stanza's name. There's no subcategories to the stanza. The symbolism of the mystery names Iowa and Jehovah. Cross and circle, the fall of the cross into matter. Stanza 23. The Upnasian in Gnostic literature, when time be no longer, the divine self's wisdom. Number 24. The crossroads and the Pythagorean decade. Poseidon's 5 ministers, the mystery of the number 6, the cross and Christian afterthought. The cross, a Christian afterthought, but not posed as a question, as a statement. Number 25, the mysteries of Hebdomad. Hebdomad. The mysteries of Hebdomad. Spartanaria. The Trechacats in relation to a heptagon. The sepentary elements and the Vedas. The sepentary and the exotic works. 7 in astronomy, science, and magic. The 7 souls in Egyptologists. 7 souls of the Egyptologists. And then those are the chapters or those are the stanzas of book 2, part 2. Now we're getting ready to read the last part of the book, which is book 2, part 3. So this is the final one of the book. Now, I'm just going to read them. Addended Science and the Secret Doctrine contrasted. Number 1, archaic or modern anthropology. Anthropology, obviously. Okay, so archaic or modern anthropology. The occult and the modern doctrines. Science is silent on every problem. The ancestors mankind is offered by science. Various modes of reproduction. The pith code man wanted. Plaster-dular souls and conscious nerve cells. The atom of our father's Bathabus. Number 3, the fossil relics of man and the anthropod ape. Insurmountable difficulties for the Darwinians. Oh yeah, so insurmountable difficulties for the Darwinians. I encourage everyone to give that quite a good read. From having read that one. The argument of rudimentary organs. Epitomized history in the fetus. The evidence of skulls. Number 4, duration of the geological periods, race cycles, and antiquity of man. Sayce's sketch of chronology. Speculations on the age of the globe. The adept astronomer. On chains of planets and their polarity. States of consciousness. Worlds mentioned in the Bible. Esoteric genealogical chronology. Parallelism of life. The two science contrasted. The Paleolithic Landseer. Astral man, the solution. The Kabbalist and science. Okay, number 5. Organic evolution and creative centers. Dahin Kohans and the centers. Origins and evolutions of the mammalia. The European Paleolithic races and whence and how distributed. So the uh, European Paleolithic races. So like the different races of man at the time. The European ones. So number 6, giants, civilizations, and submerged continents traced in history. A mysterious nation, the 7 Sabbaths, Revelation and the Secret Doctrine, Druidic stones, races of giants, Mazdean 7 Earths. And then there's a second part to the number 6. Statements about the sacred island, the heirloom of Atlantis, the god-bearing land, the power of names, the son of Koles and Terra, southern and northern Atlantis, Noeb and her children, the cycles of time, the Titans in prison. Peace. Okay, number 7, and this is the last stanza. Scientific and geological proofs of the existence of several submerged continents. Collaboration of occultism by geology. Evidence of the flora. Atlantis necessary to entheology. Astria's fall on her head. Oh, Astria falls on her head. Communication between South Sea islands. Evidence of language. Region explains Masonic symbols. The end to a fitting prelude to truth. And then that is the end of book 2, part 3. Now, hold on one moment. So 1209. After that, you're just getting your index for that book. Now, so the first episode, we read the first book, all of its 3 parts, stanzas and chapters. And now we have completed reading all of the stanzas for book 2, parts 1, 2, and 3 as well. Those ones I find very intriguing just because of the subject matter and everything that seems to be going on in the world today. I really like it. Like I said, it feeds the fantastical side of my mind that's hungry for all those things. It seems to just give it, just absolutely deliver on all fronts and in ways I never even fathomed. And if you're willing to open your mind, and I'm not saying it's an end all to all knowledge. You don't have to take everything as absolute, gospel truth or anything like that. But just to be able to open your mind and be able to hear these ancient knowledges that seem to have been lost just within the last 100 years, it's really interesting. And I encourage everybody to open their minds and expand themselves. Therefore, you can grow outside yourself. If anyone wants to hear anything in particular, like I said, I have the book. You can drop it in the comments what you want to hear, and we'll go over some stuff. I'd love to have some conversations. Bye.